welcome back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBae. I am MovieBae, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing one of the most controversial plot lines in all of urban movie history. The fact that Elgin Eugene Smith III was not indeed the villain in You Got Served. But before we get to it though, I would like for y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here at MovieBae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary. Girl, I forgot what I did. Reviews, reactions, and commentaries to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. And if you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up and or drop a comment down below to share your thoughts and opinions on my commentary or the subject matter. Now, before we get into this very, like I stated, controversial plot line, we gotta go down memory lane. Okay, let's refresh some memories. It's 2004, and the biggest boy group since New Edition, known as B2K, has just dropped their first motion picture movie entitled You Got Served. Now, according to IMDb, the plot of this movie is You Got Served follows the competitive world of street dancing, where crews battle each other for money and respect. Now, Elgin and David are best friends and the leaders of the dance crew in the area. When another town's top group challenges them to a battle, David and Elgin, along with their dance crews, must create and perfect the most cutting-edge moves in order to remain on top. Now, let's go ahead and start at the beginning. The beginning of this movie literally has the best opening period, and this movie literally has the best dance sequences. Even if you weren't a fan of B2K, like if you was a B2K hater, you can't lie that them was doing a thing in this movie. And of course, this movie popularized a few songs that we now think of as synonymous when it comes to You Got Served. For example, Drop by Timberland. Eight. Whatever I say, y'all gotta do. Whatever I say, y'all gotta do. Whatever I say, y'all gotta do. Y'all do. Hey! Of course, we have other songs like Flipside by Freeway and that song, You Don't Know Now, But You Gon' Find Out. I don't even know who sings that song. But these are songs that when we hear it, what do we think about? You Got Served. Now, in this opening scene where we see David and Elgin's crew battling another crew, we are introduced to Leah, played by Jennifer Freeman, who is Elgin's younger sister, and as well as her best friend, Beautiful, played by Megan Good, who stole my man. Now, one of the major plot lines in this movie is between these three people, David, Elgin, and Leah. Now, in the movie, we all know David and Elgin, they run drugs for one of the biggest drug dealers in the city. One day, while David was on a date with Elgin's baby sister, Elgin is left by himself, beat up and robbed, and he ends up owing Emerald, that drug dealer, all this money that he lost when David, his friend, bailed on him. Now, in the movie, they made it out to be that Elgin was the one who was being petty and childish because he held a grudge against David. I am here to let y'all know, Elgin was the victim. David was the villain of this movie. Please allow me to explain. Now, one day after a dance battle, David decides that he's going to crash at Elgin and Leah's house. Now, Leah had been planning from the jump. I guess apparently she had a crush on David ever since she was younger. Well, they were younger. And she decided that now she's going to take her chance. So she wakes him up in the morning, prancing around these tight ass white pants, flirting and whatnot. And he offers to walk her to work. This is when we have this long montage where we don't even hear what they're talking about. They just play music in the background because I'm pretty sure they didn't have anything to say. But we see this bond building between Leah and David. Now, when David gets back to the house, Elgin asks him, like, where have you been? And David says that I was just walking your sister to work. This is when Elgin's demeanor changes. He's like, all right, bro, I don't play by my little sister. And David tells Elgin, relax, it's nothing like that. I was just walking her to work. We were just catching up. Then Elgin goes ahead and shows David that they have been challenged by two white boys from Malibu. I think it was like $10,000 or something like that. But of course, Elgin and David, they in the hood. They don't just have $10,000 laying around. So what do they have to do? They have to pick up extra shifts from Emerald in order to make that money. After a game of basketball, David bails on Elgin without telling him where he's going. And he promises Elgin that he'll be back in time to make that run for Emerald. And where does David go? David goes to pick up Leah from work. after Elgin told him, I don't play about my sister. And David claimed it was innocent. And what do? You pick my sister up from work and you take her out on a date. Now, let's go ahead and get into this date, y'all. Because this, when I tell you, this came out in 2004. I was like 10, 11 years old. I was pissed. I was upset. I hated Jennifer. What's her name, y'all? I hated her for a hot minute after this movie because of what she did. Let's get into it. So on this date, their very first date, okay, they're talking, bonding, but David's phone keeps going off. He's a very busy man, okay? He's the dance captain and he's also a drug dealer. So his phone is on. And what does Leah do? She reaches over, takes his phone, turns it off, and then keeps it in her possession because he's paying too much attention to his phone and not to her. Now, granted, I understand. Maybe we should just have a date another day. But you don't take a grown man phone and turn it off. I got things planned today. But what does David do? He allows her to turn off his phone knowing that he has obligations later on in that day. Now, Emerald calls Elgin early. Like, say, hypothetically, they run at like 9. Emerald calls Elgin at like 7. And now Elgin can't get a hold of David because why? Leah turned his phone off. So Elgin is calling and calling and calling. And eventually he has to go make the run all by himself with double the product late at night by himself. So of course, what happens? Elgin gets beat up and robbed for all the money in the merch. Now, after their date, David finally gets possession of his phone again, turns it on, and they find out that Elgin has indeed been hospitalized. So they make their way to the hospital. And this is when Elgin is rightfully so pissed off, especially because they show up together. He wants to know, why weren't you picking up your phone? Look what happened when you did it. And he finds out that he was indeed on a date with his sister after he strictly forbade them not to talk to each other. And this is when Leah says, I'm grown, I can do what I want to do. And he tells Leah, he hit her with my favorite line, y'all. Leah, go home, stop acting like a hoe. That nurse came in and said, hey, y'all need to keep it down. Y'all, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, especially when he tried to push David and he started falling and fumbling all over his crutches. Oh my God, I could not, bro. So rightfully so, Elgin is upset with David and they are no longer friends. He's kicked off the dance crew. You can't kick it with me, skate with me, none of that, okay? Also T.I. and ATL type stuff, okay? Now, everybody is treating Elgin like he's petty and childish, and they're treating David like he's the victim. I don't get it, because I'm not a guy, but isn't that code? Like, you can't talk to the homie's sister. Like, that's already violation number 1. Violation number 2 is you left me stranded when I'm doing something that's very dangerous. Violation number 3, it could have been worse. It could have been more than just getting beat up and robbed. Violation number 4, now I owe all this money to this big time drug dealer. You don't, I do, because I was the one that had all the merch on by myself. How is Elgin the one that is getting treated like he's childish? And something that really, really made me mad is when Leah brings their grandmother into it, because the grandmother tries to, get them to talk again. And she talks about, he hit me. He did not hit you. Like, I was like, oh my God, get this girl off of my screen. When I tell y'all, I had not been a fan of her since this movie. Because I was like, he didn't even hit you. Like, what are you talking about? And of course, that's when we get the Elgin Eugene Smith III. I am 100% on Elgin's side. David was in the wrong. You don't talk to the homie sister. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely don't leave him hanging. Like, how no one could understand why Elgin was mad is beyond me. I think they only tried to make Omarion the victim because he was Omarion and he was like the leader of B2K, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, that is what I had to talk about when it came to You Got Served, y'all. I didn't want to do a full recap of the movie, but this particular part about the movie really just grinded my gears. This is in my opinion, a hood cult classic. Even if you weren't a B2K fan, you can't lie. Like, they were really dancing their asses off in this movie. And we got like kind of throwback little Kim, you know, when she was still dark skinned. She had plastic surgery, but you know, she was still one of us. Like, this movie is epic. Like, it's epic, bro. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Please drop a comment down below. Were you Team David or Team Elgin, especially when this came out? Did I change your perspective on anything in this movie? Please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.